A lot of people ask, the hybrid attack strategy, the Hogs and the Miners, can you use that for Town Hall 10? Well, yes, you can. In this video, I will teach you how to use it with no siege machines, but also explain why you may or may not want to use this strategy. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Judo Sloth here. I hope you're having a good one. Today I will break down the hybrid attack, and if you want to see more Town Hall 10 strategies, be sure to check out the playlist. It's featured on your screen right here. The link for that will be in the description, or alternatively, you can go to my homepage and see it just like that. You will find many videos for Town Hall 10, however, let's get into this one. Now, a lot of you have requested in the recent weeks about the hybrid attack strategy. Can you use it at lower level? Specifically Town Hall 10 I was being asked, and it just so happens that the guys and gals over at Judo Papa have done a brilliant job in demonstrating many strategies. I will be featuring more content from them. They're getting involved with a lot of Town Hall 10 5v5 wars, so I can't wait to bring that to you, but let's start with this one. Now, whenever this strategy is used, it tends to be done in combination with a queen charge. That is typical of this strategy, whether it be Town Hall 13 or here at Town Hall 10. Now, I like the fact that in this one we had a couple of minions just to snipe off the Town Hall. Again, these are single attack format wars, and ultimately you need that Town Hall, but it also helps with funneling here to drive the queen into the base, and that is to try and take down the enemy queen and the clan castle. Now, it depends on the clan castle as to whether you would want to try and fight that with your miners, but most of the time you do not. You want the clan castle with your queen because you don't know what's in there, but the enemy queen, you can rely on the miners to take that out. Now, if you can as well, try and create pathing. This is the main thing here. So as the queen takes down the right hand side of the base, we then have this clear path for the hybrid to come through the other side. Again, no different to Town Hall 13. Now, you might be asking me, well, why would we not use the hybrid? You suggested at the start of the video that in some cases you might not want to use it. Most definitely. I will be getting into that in the coming replays. We have a few of them throughout this video. Let's focus on how to do it for the first attack here today. As the Hogs and Miners come in, what I've typically seen from Judo Papa is using not too many Hog Riders in the composition itself, but having them within the clan castle to reinforce that area. Remember, no siege machines for this one, so the Hog Riders used purely to just come straight in alongside the miners, and we did get a little bit fortunate that the king went down. The idea here is that the king would have came right up the side as far as possible to keep the Hogs and Miners moving through the base. Now, in this example, they do steer off a little bit to the left, but that's where our queen charge across to the right continues to do a really good job. Now, with the Hogs and the Miners, it is about keeping them healed. That is the main thing. You really don't have to worry at Town Hall 10 about as much splash damage as Town Hall 13. It's not like you will be needing a lot of rage spells or freeze spells, very adaptable spells like you will at that higher level. You can really just run with the spells required for the queen charge and then heals for the Hogs and Miners. Don't forget about the buildings on the center as well. If the queen won't get them, you might want to make sure that your miners will path to it. In this case, fortunately they did, but the plan was always to try and keep them on the inside of the base. But let's move to a few other examples, and I also want to give you a clear message as to when you would and wouldn't use this strategy. Moving on to the second base, I will be sure to cover in this one how you might not want to use the hybrid, but it really does come down sometimes to personal preference as well. So we start the funnel down to the western side of the base. That will allow the queen to come straight in and towards the enemy heroes. Notice that the clan castle troops are also within its radius. Now, that brings up a key point in terms of what you take down with your queen charge can very much affect whether you take miners or hog riders. Now, miners can attack anything. So if you can't get the king and the queen, then you might decide to use miners because they will attack the king and queen as they move through. Hog Riders obviously will not, but if you can take them out with your queen charge, then you might want to use Hog Riders because they are defense targeting. They will just go for the defenses if there is no clan castle, king, queen, anything like that. They can get through it a little bit easier. It also depends on whether you can funnel on the opposite side of the base. If it's more tricky, the Hog Riders can be better because they can move without having to worry as much about the funnel, the miners you need to funnel for. But the miners are good that they can just take down anything. Like I said, they can get the heroes. You're not missing buildings on the inside and having to worry about time fails like you can with the Hog Riders, and that's where the mix can be good. So let's pause very briefly while I show you where we are at as the Hogs and miners come in. So again, talking about that pathing, that is one of the main things about this Hog Riders, miners, any sort of attack really. Pathing is massive, but for the hybrid, it really is the biggest point. So the queen has taken out that western part of the base like we mentioned, and look at the king down to this side. The area is where he will funnel so that the Hogs and miners can come straight into the base. Now you might be asking, well, why not come from 6 o'clock? Arguably you could in terms of pathing, but we'd be getting to the multi-inferno last. Remember what I said in that first attack, you might want to try and take key buildings as well, not just the clan castle. A multi-inferno might be one of them, but certainly if you are attacking them with your Hogs and miners, make sure you're trying to get to them ASAP. Now again, at Town Hall 10, you really can be a little bit more flexible. A lot of the advantages of the hybrid higher up is that when you get to Town Hall 11, the miners do not get affected by the tornado traps. That's a bonus in itself. When you start getting up to Town Hall 13, Town Hall 12 and 13, it really is the Giga Bomb that helps you get through that as well. Now, Hybrid was always around at Town Hall 12. It just wasn't as popular as Town Hall 13 because we got 2 new levels at Town Hall 13 and also the scatter shots. Notice how the Hogs and miners can split up due to them being different in their AI, and also the troop speed can cause them to do that as well. Now what that means at Town Hall 13 is the scatter shots will not be attacking both troops at the same time. However, for Town Hall 10, again, you do not need to worry about that. So sometimes it can come down to personal preference. You arguably could have took this base with Queen Charge Hogs, Queen Charge Miners, or Queen Charge Hybrid. You can really do as you please sometimes, but obviously in this example, I did kind of focus a little bit more on why you may or may not use the hybrid attack, why you might go just Hogs, just miners. Mix it up, try them out, guys. But let's move to a different example for you, and I will more so focus on the very finer elements of this strategy so you can really start to fine-tune things and get some 3 stars yourself. This attack will bring up a lot of the finer details of the hybrid attack, and it uses a queen walk rather than a queen charge. Then for the next attack, which will be the final one, I want to show using a couple of Hog Riders to supplement the queen charge as well as that hybrid portion. Now guys, if you do enjoy my content, I do daily educational but entertaining Clash of Clans content. I cover Town Hall 9 and above, mixed in with Let's Plays, 5v5 wars, and I tend to rotate my Town Hall content. So what that means is Town Hall 10 specific, you will see approximately every 10 days a video dedicated to Town Hall 10 on my current schedule. Let's get into this one though, because it's a little bit different of a base in that the queen walk is used. Now what's the difference between a queen walk and a queen charge? Now it's very, some people cross-reference them as well, but essentially a queen walk is walking the queen on the outside of the base. A queen charge is charging your queen into the base. That is the difference. So one Valkyrie, again thinking about efficiency of funneling, is used across to the bottom in order to funnel and drive the queen down the left-hand portion of the base. Now she does not need to get into the base for a few different reasons. There's just no need. She can take out what she needs to on the outside, create the pathing, we save on wall breakers, job is a good one. So the clan castle is lured, poison spell on top of that, and we will take down the enemy king. Meanwhile, the queen continues to walk on that side. You might notice as well, over to the 3 o'clock section, we've got the barbarian king funneling there. So we've essentially got the queen who, remember, can reach over walls, so she can take all of these, in fact the wizard tower as well, and then the king will be taking this right hand side, meaning again it's a little bit wider of a path in this example for the hogs and the miners to come through. However, we've got more of them because we had less troop capacity in terms of the wall breakers, and notice how the archer queen is in the middle. So this is one of them bases where the miners will take out the queen, so obviously not the type of base where you could do a queen charge hog rider attack. You've got to have them miners mixed in. Again, you do get the benefits though of the hog riders being different to the miners, slightly taking different routes, so you don't then get stuck too much on the splash damage. All heal spells from this point. Now we do have another rage which is for the queen, but you can be very flexible. That rage could be used in the center of the base if you needed the hogs or the miners to specifically get through an area. You really have to just try and set up the raid as best as possible in terms of your plan, but make sure you are adapting based on how it goes. So some of the hogs and miners got caught across to the right hand side. A heal spell was dedicated to them. Try and make sure that you're using your spells wisely on the most amount of troops. Coming to the back end, because we lost some of the momentum towards that multi-inferno, the rage was used to get the hogs and miners in, then the heal is used, but it's not just used right in one area without any kind of thought. It covers the entire multi-inferno range, covers the gaps in case there's giant bombs there, but also protects as we move through to the back end defenses as well, specifically that wizard tower, which is absolutely huge. Now this is one thing with a mass miner attack at Town Hall 10. I've covered this within that Town Hall 10 playlist. King on one side, queen on the other, miners through the middle. Works incredibly well. This one was a little bit more technical in terms of the healers on the queen trying to charge a little bit more. But it's essentially a similar strategy. You can use the hogs to supplement things, and again I hope this is clarified a few different things in terms of the hogs and miners. Within that playlist I actually did a video of hogs, miners, why you would use one not the other, and directly compared them as well, so that is a good one to check out in that playlist as well. But let's go to the final replay. For this final attack then, I really just thought it was, one, a really good attack to finish off on, but two, showcases something we haven't really touched on, and that is being adaptable. The better you get with the strategy, the more you can really adapt on the fly, which is something that you really get with a lot of practice. Don't expect to pick up any strategy straight away and start wrecking bases with it. You really need to be practicing with it. So Baby Dragon sets up the funnel for the queen to come down, but look at this one hog rider. It actually sets off a giant bomb and pops the Tesla as well. Now granted, the hog rider was actually intended to lure the clan castle. The second one does, but it brings up an interesting point that you might use a coconut loon to take out a black bomb. Send a hog rider in. If you can set off a Tesla or a giant bomb, or you can help to snipe off a building, maybe you've got one archer tower that's tanked and nothing else within the radius, get a hog rider in there whilst your queen is tanking it and take it down. Very, very helpful to be doing. But in this case, we are using the hog rider to lure the clan castle to the edge of the base. Take it out. You always want to take out the clan castle in the area of least damage. So if our queen punched into the base, then we had the enemy queen to think about, maybe this Expo here as well. There's a lot more damage onto our queen. Take it out outside of the base. Clan castle is now down. We do not have to worry about it. So that really just shows a couple of adaptations in terms of the hogs. Same across to this side, look. One miner doesn't work out for him, but one miner to try and funnel that building, which was not part of the plan, to ensure the king comes down to the bottom to funnel and not up around the top and ends up being useless. Unfortunately, we don't need another miner to funnel, but again, the thought process was there, and that's what you need to be planning. Now, I also like that the miners and hogs come into this top area, but the recognition is there that, again, the base is quite wide here. In terms of the hogs and miners coming through, you almost need 2 strands of attack, and that's what happens. We've got this big area that creates a natural funnel around the multi-target inferno, which means our troops are not really going to be drawn down to the multi because of the gap. That's what it's intended for, but in this case, the workaround works really well, that we can get the hogs and miners through the top area and just send the hog riders from the clan castle with a few extra down to the bottom. So the hogs and miners are almost working separately as part of the hybrid, but they will merge together towards the end. It's more just that surgical approach initially that works really well. And again, thinking about the multi-infernos, that's your main defense at Town Hall 10. How are you going to path the hogs and miners to that easily? That's where you've got to focus their fire through. You might want to take a freeze spell if you can particularly get good value onto a multi, an expo. Maybe you can clip an archer tower as well. And also do take note of skeleton spells and skeleton traps. Sorry, there might be a few of them around a multi-target inferno which could really wreck miners. So if you've got that from a replay, you might actually take a second poison for that. Honestly, guys, think about the base. Break it down. How are you going to specify your attack for that base? And I hope that this video has helped you to break that down. Now, if you do want to see the top attack strategies right now for Town Hall 10, I'm going to link it on your screen right now. But you might also want to check out that Town Hall 10 playlist we've been talking about. If you are a Town Hall 10 player, it will definitely help you out. But check out the one of the top attack strategies. I'll see you guys across there. But if not, join us tomorrow for more Clash of Clans. Until then, stay safe and have a good one.